In today's video, we're going to talk about 7 toxic death stones that can literally kill you when you touch them. Now imagine for a moment that you're walking through nature, looking for gems, when suddenly you see small neon crystals glittering on the ground. The captivating glow of the stones catches your eye, and you walk closer to find out what they are. Amazed by your find, you think you've just hit the gemstone lottery. But what you may not know is that this mysterious death stone could actually be the end of your prospecting journey. That's right, some gems are not only precious, they can be highly poisonous to humans. Surprising, isn't it? Who would have thought that a gem cut to adorn a necklace or ring could be radioactive or lethally toxic just by contact with your skin? And the dangers associated with these death stones go far beyond simple radiation contamination. Certain minerals can cause serious, even fatal illnesses. Heavy metal poisoning, such as mercury or arsenic exposure, is just one example of the hidden risks these stones can pose. It may sound like an exaggeration, but it's not. Just as there is a bright, beautiful side to the world of gemstones, there is also a dark side filled with silent killers hidden deep within the earth. These death stones pose serious risks to human health and the environment, turning the brilliance and beauty of gemstones into a little-known but very real threat. The first point to understand is that despite the risk of poisoning and contamination associated with the stones on this list, finding a deposit of these toxic minerals on your property can still be a lucrative opportunity if handled correctly. Mining companies around the world are interested in exploiting these rare and dangerous minerals and are willing to invest large sums of money to acquire them. Therefore, knowing how to identify, avoid direct contact, and handle these death stones safely will not only protect your health, but can also turn a deadly discovery into a carefully managed, highly profitable business. So to put an end to the mysticism, let's start with the first gem on our list, Torbernite. Torbernite is a fascinating mineral that is easily recognized by its crystals, which vary from emerald green to light green, with a glassy or lustrous surface. Chemically, it is a hydrated copper-uranium phosphate, and it usually forms thin, square, or tabular crystals that can stack into plate-like or micaceous aggregates. This intense color is due to its high uranium content, which also makes the mineral naturally radioactive. Over time, the green color of Torbernite can fade, especially with prolonged exposure to light, as it tends to dehydrate, turning into a related mineral called metatorbernite and losing some of its transparency and vivid color. Torbernite is formed in areas where uranium minerals are oxidized. This process occurs when oxygenated groundwater interacts with uranium-bearing rocks, dissolving and transporting the element. When this uranium-rich solution encounters phosphate-rich areas such as rocks containing apatite, guano-rich sediments, or organic matter, Torbernite can form and precipitate to grow as bright green crusts or isolated crystals in fractures and cavities. It often appears together with other secondary uranium minerals such as automite, meta-autunite, and uranophane. And for geologists, it serves as a visual clue that a rock body has been altered by uranium-bearing fluids. This mineral is a good indicator of uranium mineralization and is found in many regions of the world, particularly in areas where uranium deposits have been found. Notable locations include France, Germany, Portugal, the United States, particularly Colorado, Utah, and New Mexico, as well as countries in Africa, Australia, and Asia. Specimens from these localities are highly sought after by mineral collectors. But because of its instability and tendency to dehydrate, Torbernite is often stored in sealed containers, away from heat and direct light, to preserve its color and structure and to limit the escape of radioactive radon gas. With a low hardness of between 2.5 and 3 on the Mohs scale, Torbernite is relatively soft and can be easily scratched by harder objects, such as a copper coin. Its density ranges from 3.1 to 3.3 grams per cubic centimeter, and it usually has a glassy to silky luster and a bright green color. The crystals are generally transparent to translucent, but may lose this characteristic over time due to dehydration. Because it is radioactive, Torbernite must be handled with care and special precautions must be taken to protect human health. Stibnite, on the other hand, also known as antimonite, is an antimony sulfide that, while seemingly harmless, can be extremely dangerous. The main source of antimony, this mineral is lead gray to silver gray and exhibits a dark, iridescent luster when exposed to light. Typically, its crystals are elongated and prismatic, often twisted or marked by parallel striations, forming massive, radiating aggregates that resemble needles. Stibnite occurs in hydrothermal veins and low-temperature deposits, often associated with minerals such as galena, cinnabar, realgar, orpiment, pyrite, and quartz, and in aggregates and rocks such as granite and gneiss. With uses ranging from the hardening of metal alloys in battery terminals to the manufacture of matches, fireworks, and antique cosmetics, it has a remarkable historical and industrial relevance. However, the antimony contained in this mineral is a silent danger. Prolonged exposure and improper handling of this element can lead to serious health problems. Although ingestion of a large amount in a single dose is rare and less dangerous, the body usually eliminates antimony before it reaches lethal levels. Prolonged exposure to small doses creates cumulative risks. Continuous inhalation of antimony can cause skin and eye irritation, lung inflammation, bronchitis, and even chronic emphysema due to the increasing toxicity that accumulates in the body. In mining, both underground and open pit methods are used to extract stibine, depending on the depth and composition of the deposit. After extraction, antimony is refined and used in industry as a flame retardant and in the manufacture of semiconductors. It is a valuable substance, but its handling requires strict precautions to avoid contamination and potentially serious poisoning. The third mineral on our list is a rare crystallized mineral that comes from magma veins, where mercury combines with tellurium to form Coloradoite. This combination of elements creates a substance with a double threat. Both mercury and tellurium are dangerous metals, and together they make handling Coloradoite potentially toxic. Simple, inappropriate contact can cause poisoning, and the situation is exacerbated when the mineral is heated or chemically modified, releasing toxic dust and mercury vapors that are highly harmful to health. In addition to the risk it poses, Coloradoite has a mining value. It is often mined for tellurium, which is sometimes combined with gold, making it even more desirable. Another attraction is its importance as an index mineral, since the presence of Coloradoite in a location usually indicates the possibility of gold and silver deposits nearby, making it coveted by both industry and mineral exploration. Pyrite, known as fool's gold because of its resemblance to gold, is a sulfide mineral composed of iron and sulfur that poses serious health and environmental risks. Although its golden yellow color and metallic luster may be attractive, pyrite is highly harmful, especially in mining environments. Oxidation of the mineral releases metals and toxic substances such as arsenic, which leach into groundwater and nearby waterways, creating acid mine drainage. This drainage contains acids and heavy metals that are absorbed by plants and eventually by animals and humans, causing serious and long-lasting illnesses. Direct contact with pyrite, especially in environments where it is handled or heated, exposes workers to toxic fumes and particles. When heated or chemically altered, pyrite releases hazardous gases, including volatile sulfur and arsenic compounds, which have a strong garlic odor and can cause respiratory poisoning and skin irritation. Prolonged exposure to these gases increases the risk of chronic lung disease, cancer, and other respiratory problems. In addition, the mining and handling of pyrite often produces sulfuric acid, which increases the leaching of toxic metals into the soil. The action of Theobacillus bacteria in oxidizing the mineral exacerbates this situation, as the bacteria gain energy by metabolizing pyrite, promoting chemical reactions that can lead to spontaneous combustion in tailings piles. This contributes to the formation of toxic gases that, once released into the atmosphere, cause acid rain and pollute the air, affecting human populations and nearby ecosystems. Despite its decorative use in jewelry and as a source of sulfur for the production of sulfuric acid, pyrite poses significant risks that require extreme caution in its handling. Constant exposure to sulfur and arsenic salts and pyrite becomes a real risk despite the mineral's beauty. Fluorite is another visually beautiful and enchanting stone, mainly due to its fluorescence under ultraviolet light. However, behind its attractive appearance, fluorite poses serious risks to human health, especially in powder form. This mineral contains fluoride, which is easily absorbed by the lungs when inhaled in small particles. Once in the body, fluoride can cause fluorosis, a debilitating and irreversible condition that weakens bones and joints, causing chronic pain and significant damage to the skeleton. Fluorosis is particularly dangerous in industrial settings where pulverized fluorite is commonly handled, such as in smelting and hydrofluoric acid production. Exposure to the dust or gas released in industrial processes increases the risk of poisoning, which can lead to serious respiratory problems and, in extreme cases, bone and joint damage. The presence of fluorite in metallic mineral deposits also increases the risk of exposure, particularly in mining and processing areas where dust control may be inadequate. Although widely used in industrial applications such as the manufacture of fuels, steel, and telescope lenses, it must be handled with great care to avoid contact with potentially toxic particles. Quartz is indeed a fascinating mineral, not only because of its abundance, but also because of the diversity of its varieties, which include stones such as amethyst, citrine, smoky quartz, milky quartz, and colorless quartz, all of which are popular in both mineral collections and jewelry. Although quartz crystals in their solid state are safe to handle and display, the danger comes when the mineral is pulverized into very fine particles, creating silica dust. When inhaled, silica dust can lodge in the airways and lungs, leading to the development of a serious and incurable lung disease called silicosis. Silicosis occurs because the body is unable to completely clear these silica particles from the lungs. In response, the immune system attempts to isolate the inhaled particles by forming small nodules around them. Over time, these nodules increase in size and cause the lung tissue to harden, a process known as pulmonary fibrosis. This stiffening prevents the lungs from expanding and contracting properly, resulting in gradually worsening breathing difficulties. This condition primarily affects workers in industries where quartz is pulverized, such as mining, construction, and any other environment where there is cutting, grinding, or drilling of materials containing silica, including sand, concrete, granite, and tile. In addition, there is a strong link between silicosis and the development of lung cancer, making this condition even more dangerous. Although there are treatments to relieve symptoms, there is no cure for silicosis. The only way to prevent the disease is to control exposure to silica dust by implementing strict safety measures such as adequate ventilation, the use of respirators, and constant monitoring of the environment in high-risk workplaces. These airborne particles can be invisible to the naked eye, making them particularly treacherous. Despite their beauty and widespread use, quartz and silica must be handled with care to prevent respirable dust from becoming a hazard. Coloradoite, or blue asbestos, is one of the most dangerous minerals in existence due to its devastating effects on human health. Consisting of extremely fine and lightweight fibers, it can be easily inhaled and lodged in the lungs, where it causes a variety of fatal diseases. Coloradoite is responsible for diseases such as lung cancer and mesothelioma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer that affects the lining of the lungs, abdomen, or even the heart. When these fibers come loose from asbestos-containing materials, they can be inhaled without people realizing it because they are invisible and odorless. In many countries, people who work or live near mines, factories, or landfills containing coloradoite are particularly at risk. In addition, blue asbestos was once widely used in building materials because of its durability and heat resistance. Exposure to blue asbestos is associated with a long latency period, which means that symptoms of related diseases can appear decades after initial exposure. This makes diagnosis difficult and treatment even more complicated because by the time symptoms appear, the disease is often in an advanced and aggressive stage. One of the most tragic incidents involving coloradoite occurred in the Australian town of Whittingham, where blue asbestos was mined from 1943 to 1966. The asbestos fibers spread throughout the town, contaminating not only the workers but also the residents. The results were catastrophic, with more than 1,000 people, including miners and residents, succumbing to mesothelioma and other diseases related to blue asbestos inhalation. Today, the mining and use of coloradoite and other types of asbestos are banned in many countries, but the effects of its use continue to haunt those who were exposed before regulations were enacted. That's why everyone who works with gemstones needs to wear protective equipment. The dust from many gemstones, especially quartz, which is the most common, can cause serious damage to your health. But does that mean you'll die if you find any of the gems on our list? No, because most of them require prolonged contact to have a lethal effect on your body, and there are plenty of other harmless minerals that you can look for in nature without worrying. But what should you do to find other gems around you? Well, if you're having trouble with that, here on this channel, there are hundreds of free videos about almost all types of gemstones and their indicators in nature, so you can learn to recognize them in a practical way for free. But if you prefer to have all this knowledge organized in one place, I recommend our book, Gemology for Beginners, available on Amazon, which you can access by clicking on the first link in the description of this video or in the pinned comment. With this book, you'll find a complete dictionary of minerals with detailed descriptions of their characteristics, allowing you to learn how to identify any gemstone with simple tests at home, especially if you're just starting out and want to better understand what to look for when exploring. Plus, there are many more secrets about gemstones found in nature, including emeralds, tourmalines, and diamonds, that don't fit into one video. Just watch the video that's now on your screen to learn more about these magnificent minerals that can make you filthy rich. Still, you must exercise caution, wear protective equipment, and consult a doctor if you have any health problems. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Good luck, Gem Hunter.